Welcome to Whachacha's Tabletop World, the channel devoted to the love of board gaming. My name is Sweetness Whachacha, and today this is an overview of Mythwind. If you want to see my thoughts on the game, click on the link down below. Okay, so Mythwind. This is a very unique game. Firstly, it's a cooperative game for 1 to 4 players. And first unique thing is that there is no real win or loss condition. You can't win or lose the game. Whether or not you would argue that that's not a game or not is besides the point here. But you are meant to just kind of enjoy the mechanisms of sort of this Eurogame style of worker placement game, cooperative game, but also to enjoy the story and building of the town and things like that. The other thing is that there's no real set game length. You can sit for an hour, you can sit for 4 hours or 12 hours. It doesn't really matter. It's a very long game and you experience it at whatever interval that you really want to. Because of that, it does have a save way to really quite easily save and reset up your game very easily. I'll go into that a little bit as well. So let's look at the what kind of comes in the box to start. Okay, firstly, you're going to see I'm playing with the farmer here. That's one of the characters. This is his miniature. He comes with his own booklet, which includes the rules for his sort of mini games and things to be played. And this is his own little character board here, okay? It has a lid that you can place on it as well, and that will like sort of lock in your progress to whatever you've changed here. There's a little slot in here as well where you'll put things that you've gained over the course of the game. So that's the one he has. Like I said, he has his own mini game, but there are also other characters, and I'm not going to go into too much in detail because there's a lot to this game. It's a very big game. There's the crafter, the merchant, and the ranger here, and they all have, like I say, their own specialized rules, their own mini games, and they all are different complexity. Like they have their own rule books as well, and in the beginning of them, they'll just tell you what the complexity is and the kind of the introduction to that character, as well as their own special rules and things. There's also, of course, the main rule book, which answers all the other questions, plenty of player aids, as well as some secret envelopes that you'll be instructed to open at some point. So they have like, I'm guessing, additional sorts of things, story-related things and mechanisms to make the game more interesting as you go along. So let's kind of look at what you can do in the game. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take the first weather card and you're going to put it out, and that's going to determine what the weather is. So this is a sunny day. So this is the springtime. The game has 4 of these different seasons, of course. There's summer there, and then there's one for fall and winter. You're going to look at the weather, and the weather is going to kind of change things a little bit depending on if you get these, line up these symbols these certain days. You're going to have certain effects to happen. Also, different characters might have different effects, like the farmer is affected by different weather. He gets on sunny days, he gets additional actions and things like that, depending on the time of year. So those are going to be some things that change as well. You're going to be able to do different things around the town by placing your worker. So you're going to take your worker and you're going to put him on a different spot. So you've got this spot here, which is going to allow you to pay to kind of clear out these lands, making a space where you can build a building. And then there's going to be like things on the backs of these cards, which are going to allow you to get bonuses. That's kind of a little bit of a secret. You don't really know what's on the backs of those. So you're going to be able to clear land out by doing that. You can also use this space here to improve your town. So each of the characters is a little bit different. Like you grow food very easily, so the food's going to be cheaper for you, so you can spend money to get different supplies and move these tracks up. These tracks are going to be used in various ways to spend on the full town. So you kind of have your own game going on here. You have your own supplies, money, and so forth on your own character board here, but you're also going to have this sort of shared communal space that is the town itself. So those are going to be used for various effects. You can also go to this space up here. This is for an adventure. You would take this, which is like a cover here, because there's a little story back there. And the card, you'll read the card to everyone, and then you'll have a choice. You'll be able to say, hey, like, this is the story, this is what's happening. Do we want to do with A or we want to do B? Sometimes these will add extra cards into the adventure deck or event deck or something like that, give you some kind of boon. It's usually something that's story-based, and you're going to kind of go through those and then eliminate them from the game. You can also go here to the building spot here, and you can spend the communal supplies to build a building. You'll have to depending on the player count, you're going to have different amount to spend to build this building, and perhaps there'll be a prerequisite, a building that you place it on top of, or you'll have to have in play to play this. You'll sometimes get a little bonus, and then it'll tell you, like this one says 3, and you'll put it in the building slot here, this construction queue. And so different buildings take longer different times to build. So different weather cards, like this one here, tells you to move them up one, so you'll slide everything up one, and everything off the top will come into play. So this is kind of like, you've decided as a town to build the abattoir, but it's got to be worked on and built until you can't use it until that point. And also, I should mention, as I mentioned, you'll have to have that cleared spot for the building to go into. Then, of course, you can go into the spots of the buildings that you've made. You start with the longhouse here, gives you $1 or allows you to get a skill. These skills, different characters have different skills, so they're 1, 2, and 3 in complexity. So if you took this skill, say, you would pay the cost here. So this is different plants that you have to pay, and then you can assign it to one of these spaces here, which will be kind of an extra little bonus action. On the back side, it will show you what it does, so you can put it either way that you like. And of course, when you put your cover on here to save the game, it's going to you'll be able to remember that that's exactly where that is because it's locked in place. So how do you get that bonus action? Well, this is the last space here. This is the tower. Over the course of the game, you're going to add additional workers to here, but right now they have this. You're going to roll these at the beginning of the game, and I'll have to re-roll if you ever get anything else. Let's say that's the case. And you can decide to build, to buy 1 worker for 2 or $5 for, $2 for 1 worker, $5 for 2 workers. And you'll take those, preserving the die face here, and put them in here. When you take all actions in this game, you'll see this little symbol here. It's got a sprite and villagers symbol. This is either or as well. Some are more, like this one just has sprite, and this one just has villager. That's going to align your character. When you have a choice, you'll decide, okay, I'm going to be aligned one way or the other. When you're aligned a certain way, you can take as many actions as you want to in that alignment. So if I had like multiple blues in here, and maybe I have this, then I can say, hey, look, I'm going to align myself with the sprites. And that means I can take any of these actions here. This is a half action here. So I could do as many as I want to, placing and resolving these as I want to. So, I can't take one of these actions and then also one of these. So it's kind of interesting that you have to be aligned properly. So by taking an action, you'll take one of these workers, you'll reduce the cost, you'll reduce the pip, so from this one goes to 1 to 0, and let's say I take an action there. So the farmer, for instance, has different things they can do. They can plant, which is to take one of these goods. You can pay for these, 1, 1, 2, or you can just take this one for free. You put it on its what's considered untended side. This is kind of a little mini game here, and then you can tend things on this space here, which is to flip them up, and then you can harvest them, which is to sell them for money, okay? Or you could kind of get them into your supply when you do the skill part here, you can spend them again for these as well. The other things here, if you were to spend these guys here, this would go from 3 to 2. This particular action for this character is to put, to buy cattle, and you can kind of breed cattle. You can get a bunch of cattle in here, or build sort of farm equipment, and have different farm equipment that give you bonuses as well. These would come in, you would spend a certain amount of money, and then you can flip them over. Sometimes you have to attach this to, have it next to to a cattle, and then it will have some special abilities for you. So there's a whole bunch of different stuff that you can have there. And anytime, really, when you do these actions, a lot of them allow you to also, sell things. You can also sell cattle. You can breed cattle. You can sell your equipment, move your cattle around, or move your equipment around. And then, of course, at some point in the game, you're going to have to start to clear these lands out as well. One of the other symbols on the weather deck here, when this comes out, is an event symbol, and then you'll read this event. Right now we only have event number 1 here. This will, when you read the event and different things will happen, you will add different events into the event deck. You'll shuffle them in, and then you'll be kind of getting, pulling from a very small 2, 3, 5 card different deck. And of course, different actions, as I mentioned, different choices that you make will add different event cards in there that will change the story or the flow of the story. Once you've gone through all of the weather cards, and again, just a reminder, if you get like certain things like all of these 3 in a row, you'll you see like, oh, 1, 2, 3, you'll kind of keep them in a line here, and you would do that effect there, as I mentioned. But once you get through all of these weather cards, the season is going to end. When the season ends, there are some buildings that will have extra things that will happen. There's some abilities and things that have like this little end of season effect, and it will provide this bonus. You'll also have the opportunity to, you know, complete a goal here. Over the course of the game, you'll be putting these little symbols on here to say, okay, I've completed something, or the other players have completed something. So each character must go on one adventure. That's one of these things here. And there will be more goals added and kind of shuffled in, much the same way as you have the events as well. They'll kind of be, you know, made because of different decisions you've made through the game as well. But if you complete this, there on the back side of it, there will be a reward if you've completed it, and there'll be a penalty if you've failed to do so. At the end of the first season, it's pretty light, not a lot happens, but in future seasons, because they want you to kind of get your feet on the ground, in future seasons like the Farmer, for instance, your fields will start to get a little more overgrown. Forest will start to reclaim, the magic of the forest will start to reclaim some of these spots on the board. So there's going to be some changes and upkeep that happen at the end of the season. As well as that, you'll have an opportunity to, you know, as a nice kind of clean thing, like, okay, the season's over, let's put the game away and save it. Or you'll be able to, if you wish, you can change characters. That's kind of a natural point. You can put your character away and save them for now and try a new character. You can keep the same character. You can swap characters with everyone, etc., etc. I also wanted to show there's that's a lot of events. There's hundreds of events in here. They actually go up to 154. There's 154 events. There's quite a lot of buildings to build as well. There's that's a lot. So just some of the variety there. The adventure cards, there's a lot of these as well. I mean, there's there's maybe 80 or 100 of them there. Okay, so this is kind of just meant to be a bit of an overview, not a tutorial. So I just wanted to give a general sense of what the game is like. There's a lot of spoilers in the game that obviously I want to avoid those. It's a very unique game and there's a lot to it. And so, I want to just kind of give you the briefest of overviews here. But essentially, each day you're going to have a weather. You're going to check and see if that there's going to be an effect from the weather. Then all the characters are going to be able to take a town action, decide their alignment. The town action's going on an adventure, building, clearing out some land to make space for a building, building a building, maybe taking some workers, villagers and sprites, deciding on an alignment, and then everybody's going to take that secondary action on their own little board, of which there are 4 different characters with totally different mini games going on, and you'll do your own thing there and decide what you're doing. You'll be able to upgrade things, etc. You're going to kind of repeat this over and over again, going through events and different, making different choices based on the story. Again, this sounds very, very heavy, but it's pretty, but it's not overwhelming. It's not any really, in terms of complex like Euro games, I wouldn't rank it up there. However, there are multiple rule books which are, can add some complexity there when you have to look stuff up. But generally the gameplay is not too difficult. At the end of the season, you'll decide whether you are going to save it or you can continue playing. The save system is very nice. As I showed you before, you'll have the space here to put things. When you put that plastic cover on, it'll lock the dice and their faces, of course, that you've got, and etc. and etc. Okay, so that's my overview of Mythwind. If you want to see my thoughts on the game, you can click on the link below. But for now, I gotta roll.